Hello and welcome back to the OSM channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an initial boot review of these Muck Chore ST steel toe work boots. Now, first thing I want to get out of the way is I'm not sponsored or endorsed by the company in any way. This is a completely unbiased review. Next thing I want to cover, when it comes to selecting the work boots for you, it's important to understand what your application is. So if you're a construction worker in the city standing on concrete all day, these probably are not going to be the right boots for you. However, if you're somebody that's outside working in the dirt, the grime, the mud, water, snow, things of that nature, I feel like these Wellington style boots would probably be a good fit for you. A few things I dislike off the bat: these boots are manufactured in China. I prefer them to be manufactured in the United States, of course, but then again, they'd probably be $200 or $300 boots. Another thing I dislike is that these boots only come in full sizes, no half sizes. I'm a 10.5, I ended up going with the 10. It fits pretty well. I wish there was a half size though. Let's quickly go over the advertised features. 100% waterproof, lightweight, flexible, and comfortable. Breathable air mesh lining wicks away humidity and perspiration. Steel toe meets ASTM standards. Additional Achilles reinforcement for added protection. Steel shank for additional arch support. Comfort range sub-freezing to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Now these boots advertise that they have a breathable air mesh lining that wicks away perspiration and humidity. I've worn these exact model boots over this past winter, and my personal experience, when my feet get cold, they get damp. And with these boots, there's basically no breathability. As you would expect, I mean, it's a waterproof boot, mostly rubber, part neoprene, and there's just really no breathability. So I feel like that advertisement is a bunch of nonsense. Now let's start going over the boot. So if I had to guess the weight of each individual boot without having a scale, probably between 2 to 3 pounds. Total height, a little bit under 16 inches. Where the rubber stops and turns into this neoprene material is at about 8 inches. The steel toe goes from the toe of the boot back about 2.25 inches, something like that. Now, when I smell this boot, of course, this is all rubber, so you get that rubber chemically smell. And additionally, when I touch this, especially because these boots are new, I do still have that rubber chemically smell on my hands. So that's something I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. Looking at the underside, we have some pretty decent treads, and for me, this is really important. If you're using a boot like this, you want to have really good traction, and it looks like you're going to have pretty good traction. As for the depth of the treads, they are about 1/4 inch deep. So taking a look at the sole, so the sole starts at the bottom of the treads, goes up, it's formed into this 3/4 inch piece right here, and it ends right here. So the sole is from here to here. This is all one piece, and then it is fused or glued into the upper part of the boot. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but if I had to put money where I believe a boot failure would be on these boots, it would be where this sole connects to the upper part of the boots. There's like a very small lip, but if you're working around rocks or an abrasive environment, or you're working with cattle, just something that could kind of step on that little lip and catch that, I feel like that's where your failure point would be. I feel like the sole would want to tear away from the upper part of the boot. So looking at the heel of the boot, attached to the sole is a little protrusion, a little piece of rubber that sticks out. I kind of like this. The purpose of this is so that if you have a boot on your foot that's kind of stuck, you can take the toe of the other boot, kind of hold it on that little lip. That should help you to remove that boot from your foot. But also it could be viewed as a negative feature if you have cattle or something like that constantly stepping on your feet. Now I'm going to put these boots on, which my feet just slip in here, and I gotta say that's such a nice feature in the boots in a matter of seconds. They're very comfortable, flexibility wise, good flex, reasonable support. You can still get down and squat. I gotta say, they're pretty darn comfortable. Now, as mentioned earlier, these boots only come in full sizes. Me being a 10.5, I can feel my big toe hit the front of the boot just a little bit, but I would say it's comfortable. Now I want to make sure that the boots are actually waterproof. So I've been standing in this 13-inch deep water now for the past couple minutes, and as you can see, the water line is well past where the rubber of the boot ends. We're up into the neoprene material, and I gotta tell you, my feet are completely dry. Sticking my hand down in the boots, I don't feel any water intrusion. So true to their name, these are waterproof boots. I came out into the woods because I wanted to test these boots on a little bit of a steep incline. So walking up the incline, I gotta say they're not the most comfortable just because the boots are so high. You have to fight that resistance of the boots wanting to straighten out, but it's not terribly uncomfortable. Traction wise though, good traction. Going back down, no problem. Good traction. Now let's try something a little bit steeper. This is like a 45-degree angle here. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive. Try coming back down. Now, something I always like to judge my boots on is what I like to call the ankle roll protection. If you step on an uneven surface, how much is the boot gonna help to protect your ankle from snapping? Now, these boots are nowhere near as good as a traditional pair of lace-up boots, but they're not as bad as sneakers either. Like when I step on this rock, you can see my ankle wants to roll, and the boots actually do provide a reasonable amount of protection, but again, nowhere near what you would get out of traditional lace-up boots. Now, when it comes to removing the boots, you know, we spoke about this little piece of rubber on the backside of the heel. Well, I found that that's almost necessary in order to remove the boots, otherwise they get a little bit stuck on your feet. But removing the boots, not too bad. Might have to shake them off a little bit, but it's definitely quicker than removing a traditional lace-up style boot. Alright, so let's wrap up this video. Some things I really like about these boots. For one, they're extraordinarily comfortable, they're waterproof as advertised, they're really easy to put on, and they have excellent traction. A few things I dislike about the boots. I don't like that rubbery, chemically smell. Even just touching the boots right now, I can still smell it on my hands. I think that will go away over time. Another thing I dislike is that the ankle roll protection isn't great, but it's not as bad as wearing sneakers either. But that's to be expected with any Wellington style boot. It's never going to compare to a traditional lace-up style boot. In terms of longevity, how long are these boots going to last? I can't say. I will update how long these boots last in the comment section down below. I'd imagine for me, these are going to last years. However, if you're somebody who's constantly bending over, squatting down, I mean, that puts a lot of stress on the rubber and the connection between the upper part of the boot and the sole. Working in an abrasive environment, rocks, sharp hooves, things of that nature, obviously they're not going to last as long as somebody who's just working out in the muck all day. So if you're somebody working out in the muck, the mud, the rain, the snow, and you're standing most of the time, there's no doubt in my mind that these boots are going to last many years. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will catch you on the next one.